The truth no one told you about aging: you don't need to do more, you need to do less. There comes a point in life when the race slows. Not because you've grown weak, but because you've grown wise enough to know that not every battle is worth fighting. And not every noise deserves your attention. They told us that getting older means staying productive, keeping busy, proving we're still useful. But what if that's the wrong lesson entirely? What if real happiness in our later years doesn't come from doing more, but from daring to do less? Yes, you heard that right. There are things, habits, worries, expectations we carry for decades, thinking they define our value. But in truth, they only drain us. They rob us of our peace, our energy, our simple joy in being alive. In today's video, we're going to explore 8 things you should become gloriously lazy about after 60. Not because you've given up, but because you've finally learned to let go of what no longer serves your soul. This isn't about neglect. It's about liberation. It's about choosing, with deep clarity, where your energy truly belongs, and where it absolutely doesn't. So if you're ready to discover a simpler, lighter, more peaceful way to live, stay with us. But before we begin, do me a small favor that means the world to our team. Like this video if you believe peace matters more than pressure. Share it with someone you love who's learning to slow down. And most importantly, subscribe to Wise Elders' Tales so you never miss stories that honor the power of age, presence, and quiet joy. Let's dive in. Sign number 1, stop pleasing everyone, start honoring yourself. There's a strange pressure that follows us even as we grow old. It whispers, softly but relentlessly. Be nice. Don't upset them. Say yes. Smile, even when you're tired. And for decades, we obey. We say yes when we want to say no. We nod politely when someone crosses the line. We keep the peace even when it costs our own. Why? Because we were taught by culture, by family, by survival, that a good person is someone who pleases others. Someone who avoids conflict. Someone who makes everyone comfortable, except themselves. But here's the truth no one says out loud. Constantly pleasing others is the slowest form of self-abandonment. And the older you get, the more painful that feels. At 60, 70, 80, you begin to see the weight of all those silent sacrifices. The events you attended though your heart wasn't in it. The conversations where you bit your tongue raw. The parts of yourself you buried to keep someone else's approval alive. But now, at this stage of life, you are free to choose a different kind of kindness. Not the kind that drains you, but the kind that includes you. You don't need to say yes to every invitation, every request, every need. Your value is not measured by how much you can tolerate. You are not a peacekeeper. You are a human being whose time is sacred, whose energy is finite, and whose spirit deserves to be honored. Being lazy about pleasing others doesn't mean being rude. It means choosing authenticity over obligation. It means letting go of the fear that someone might not like you, and embracing the quiet relief of finally liking yourself. So the next time someone expects you to smile and stay silent, remember, your smile is a gift, not a mask. Your silence is sacred, not a sentence. You've lived too many seasons to keep betraying your own truth. So speak it gently, kindly, but firmly. Because after all these years, the most important person to please is you. Sign number 2, worry less about what you can't control, protect your peace instead. There's a certain kind of worry that slips through the cracks of every day. It doesn't shout. It lingers. It lives in the corners of your mind, whispering what if, what now, what next? You worry about your health. You worry about your children even though they're grown. You worry about the world, the economy, your memory, your joints, your future. You lie awake at night, replaying conversations from a week ago, imagining disasters that haven't happened and might never happen. You're not alone. So many of us carry this quiet, heavy fear. As if by worrying, we could somehow prevent bad things from happening. But here's the truth. Worry doesn't stop tomorrow's storm. It only robs today of its sunlight. The older we get, the more precious peace becomes. We no longer have the energy to chase every what if, or fix every broken thing in the world. And you know what? That's okay. You are not responsible for everything you see. You don't need to carry the weight of the whole family, the country, or the future. Some things are beyond your reach. And learning to let them float past you, like leaves in the stream, is not weakness. It's wisdom. Being lazy about worrying doesn't mean you don't care. It means you finally understand the difference between what you can control and what you must release. What can you control? Your breath. Your thoughts. Your reactions. Whether you choose to respond with peace or panic. So next time you feel the worry rising like a tide, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this mine to carry? If the answer is no, set it down. You've spent enough of your life trying to hold up the sky. Now it's time to walk gently on the earth, unburdened and at peace. Sign number 3, let go of the need to argue or prove yourself. There was a time when every disagreement felt like a battle worth fighting. When someone misunderstood you, you'd rush to explain. When they judged you unfairly, you'd try to change their mind. When they challenged your choices, you'd defend yourself word by word, breath by breath. But eventually, with age, something shifts. Not because you've run out of strength, but because you've grown tired of spending that strength on the wrong things. You begin to see that some people don't want to understand you. They don't want a conversation. They want to win. And you? You no longer need to win. You need peace. You stop walking into every argument as if it's your duty. You no longer feel the urge to fix every wrong assumption, to convince every skeptic, to respond to every criticism. Because you realize something powerful. You don't owe the world an explanation for your life. Your choices, your pace, your boundaries, they don't need a defense. They just need to be lived, fully and quietly. Silence becomes a kind of wisdom. A shield, not of pride, but of serenity. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've learned that shouting louder doesn't bring clarity. Only noise. So now, when someone misjudges you, you let them. When they misunderstand, you allow it. Not out of defeat, but out of a quiet understanding that your truth is not up for debate. Let them believe what they need to. You've got better places to be than in the middle of every fire. Places like peace, like presence, like the freedom to walk away without guilt, without explanation, without looking back. Sign number 4, stop chasing society's standards, live by your own compass. At some point, you realize the finish line you've been running toward was never really yours. The perfect body. The perfect family photo. The house, the titles, the clothes, the shiny things. All the silent competitions you didn't even know you signed up for. You ran. Oh, you ran so hard. Trying to meet expectations written by someone else's hand. You were told how to look. How to live. What success should feel like. What happiness should cost. But here you are, years later. And maybe, just maybe, you're finally starting to wonder. What if none of that ever truly mattered? What if your body is already enough? Not because it's flawless, but because it carried you through storms? What if your home is sacred not because it's big, but because it holds your silence and your stories? What if your life doesn't need to look like a magazine cover, because it already feels like peace? Growing older is a gift, because it gives you permission to rewrite the rules. You get to say, I'm tired of the chase. I don't want to be impressive. I want to be real. And that is a powerful kind of freedom. So go ahead. Wear what makes you feel warm, not what's trending. Decorate your home with comfort, not comparison. Take up space without apology. Let your laugh be loud, your walk be slow, your presence be full. Because you've earned the right to live by your own compass, not someone else's blueprint. And in doing so, you give others silent permission to do the same. Sign number 5, stop holding on to toxic relationships, let peace choose who stays. Not every person who walks with you deserves to stay with you forever. Some people were meant to be chapters, not lifetimes. But we hold on. Out of habit. Out of history. Out of guilt. We tell ourselves, we've known each other for years. Or, they're still family. Or maybe things will change. And so we bend. We silence ourselves to keep the peace. We walk on eggshells, again and again, hoping that someday, somehow, the weight will lift. But here's the truth, one that stings before it soothes. Love should not feel like walking through fire. Loyalty should not require your silence. Your time is sacred. And in the later chapters of life, you owe it to yourself to spend that time wisely. With people who see you, hear you, lift you. Being lazy about keeping every relationship alive is not cruelty. It's clarity. Not everyone belongs in the home of your heart. Some were just passing visitors who stayed too long. It's okay to bless people from a distance. To release them with kindness. To let go, not with anger, but with understanding. We were once good for each other. But now, I need peace more than I need connection. And when you do that, something remarkable happens. Your life begins to fill with people who don't drain you, but restore you. Who don't just love you, but love the real you. With no performance, no masks, no tightrope to walk. So if someone's presence makes your spirit shrink, if their words weigh heavy on your chest, if the relationship feels more like endurance than joy, then, gently, let them go. You're not cold. You're finally warm enough to know the difference. Sign number 6, stop filling every hour, let stillness be enough. There was a time when an empty calendar felt like failure. When rest made you feel guilty. When slowing down looked too much like giving up. You kept busy. Not always because you wanted to, but because doing nothing felt wrong. Unproductive. Lazy. Wasteful. But where did that belief come from? Somewhere along the way, society taught us that our worth is measured in movement. That the more you do, the more you matter. And so, we fill our days, appointments, obligations, errands, favors. Until the day disappears and we're left too tired to feel alive in it. But here's what age teaches you, if you're quiet enough to listen. Busyness is not always purpose. And a full schedule does not mean a full life. There is a kind of peace that only silence offers. A kind of clarity that only slowness reveals. And in your later years, that peace becomes not just valuable, but sacred. Being lazy with your calendar isn't laziness at all. It's wisdom. It's choosing space for joy instead of noise. For reflection instead of rushing. For mornings with no alarm, afternoons with no guilt. Evenings that end with breath, not burnout. Because you've earned this stillness. Let the younger ones chase the clock if they must. You know better now. You know that time is not something to fill, but something to feel. So slow down. Make room for the quiet. Because some of life's most meaningful moments only whisper when everything else is silent. Sign number 7, stop hoarding stuff and old memories, make space for what matters now. There's a quiet weight that grows with time. Not just in our closets, but in the corners of our hearts. Boxes of old clothes. Drawers filled with just in case. Photographs we no longer look at. Letters from people we no longer speak to. We hold on. To objects. To moments. To versions of ourselves we no longer are. Sometimes out of love. Sometimes out of fear. Often, just because we don't know how to let go. But here's the truth. Not everything that came with you needs to come with you the rest of the way. You are not a storage unit. You are a soul in motion. And your peace is being buried under the weight of too much what was. It's okay to release the sweater you haven't worn in 10 years. It's okay to donate the dishes you're saving for a guest who never comes. It's okay to let go of that memory that only ever brings sadness. Being lazy about keeping everything isn't wasteful. It's freeing. It creates space, physical and emotional, for what still brings you life. A room that breathes. A heart that isn't cluttered with regret. A present moment that isn't haunted by things that no longer fit who you are. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing what you carry forward. With intention, with lightness, with love. So walk through your home. And your heart. And ask gently. Do I still need this? Does this still serve who I'm becoming? And if the answer is no, thank it, and let it go. You've already lived many beautiful yesterdays. Now, make room for the beauty of today. Sign number 8, stop asking for permission to be yourself, live unapologetically, live fully. For most of our lives, we ask. We ask if it's okay to speak. If it's okay to rest. If it's okay to dream a different dream. We shrink our joy to make others comfortable. We dull our colors to avoid standing out. We wait for anyone to say, yes, it's fine. Go ahead. Be who you are. But the truth is, that permission? It was always yours to give. You don't need to justify your softness. Your quirks. You're quiet. You're bold. You don't need a reason to laugh out loud. To dance in the kitchen. To wear purple in December. Or to sit in silence all morning. You don't need to explain why something makes your heart beat faster. Or why you walked away from things that no longer did. You've spent decades shaping yourself. Now, finally, you get to be yourself. Being lazy about seeking approval doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care deeply about living what's real. You no longer need to fit in. You've grown into someone worth standing alone for. So wear what you love. Say what you mean. Rest when you're tired. Laugh when it's funny. And live not by rules made for someone else's life, but by the rhythm of your own soul. The world doesn't need a quieter version of you. It needs the honest one. The free one. The you that's finally done asking for permission. And has started giving yourself the life you've always deserved. Maybe aging isn't about slowing down. Or speeding up. Maybe it's about returning. To yourself. To the quiet joys. To the peace you once postponed. To the voice you once silenced. Because in the end, life doesn't ask how much noise you made. It asks, did you listen? Did you notice? Did you live on your own terms before time ran out? The truth is, you've earned this season. Not by striving, but by surviving. By showing up. By loving, even when it hurt. By staying, even when it was hard. So now, you are allowed to be gentle with your days. You are allowed to say no. To walk slower. To smile less for others and more for yourself. Let this chapter be different. Lighter. Truer. Yours. And if this message touched something in you, a quiet truth you forgot you carried, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who's walking the same quiet road. Like this video if it helped you breathe easier. And subscribe to Wise Elders' Tales, where every story honors the strength of age, the gift of slowing down, and the quiet power of living life with your whole heart.